Madam President, first I just want to thank our colleague for her words, her personal testimony, and I hope that she knows how deeply moving her testimony has been and that she is fully supported by members of this body. Thank you for sharing. Madam President, I rise also to thank our colleagues who have sacrificed a week of their lives, their professional and personal lives, to join us today, this whole week, to work hard to respond to the urgency of the moment at hand. I want to highlight that the work that we've been engaged in this week is to strengthen, not to dilute, as many have argued, Virginia's redistricting process. It is about the people, and it is about honesty. Honesty about what is happening all across this nation, honesty about the crisis points that we are facing, honesty about the intentional damage that is being inflicted on the various communities that we represent, our farmers, our veterans, our rural families, seniors, immigrants, LGBTQ family and friends, children in poverty, and so many more. We must remind ourselves that yes, we are Virginians, and critically as well, we are Americans. America is in crisis, and Virginia has the opportunity to respond in this most precipitous moment. This is a moment that we must meet with urgency, and it is incumbent on us to act. It is incumbent on us to answer the calls of Virginians in every corner of the Commonwealth who have made one message loud and clear. They are angry at the direction of this country. Across our country, we're witnessing a crisis of faith in our democracy and a crisis in democracy itself. The refusal to accept the results of the 2020 election engendered the violence of the insurrection of January 6, 2021, and while that tragic moment and the horrific images of people storming our U.S. Capitol continue to resonate powerfully in our minds, that tragedy has been compounded even further over the subsequent years. Since 2020, we've seen amplified efforts to discredit the lawful results of elections, to consolidate political power, and to rewrite the basic rules of fair and equal participation. State houses across the nation, from Florida to Texas to Ohio, have taken up revisionist history along with the redrawing of maps and the writing of laws in order to prioritize party and politics over the people. These are not isolated incidents, nor are they happening in a vacuum. There is a clear and direct line from the centuries of dispossession, disenfranchisement, and dehumanization of Black and brown people. There is a clear line to what is happening today. There is also a clear and direct line from Jim Crow, from segregation and redlining to what we are seeing today. These are not, and I would like to remind us about the words of Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine, whose words helped to give birth to American liberty, he warned us long ago, the right of voting is the primary right by which all other rights are protected. And when that right is manipulated or subverted, when lines are drawn in ways that suppress voters, every other right is undermined. The right to vote and the right to fair representation are foundational to the right to economic justice, the right to social justice, the right to civic engagement. And so when we fight for fair representation, we are actually fighting for better wages. We are protecting health care and health care access. We are responding to the dismantling of public education. This effort is not just about protecting representation. It is quite literally about access, equity, and justice. If we in Virginia fail to act, we risk following the same path that we have seen elsewhere, a path that replaces trust with cynicism, and where voters believe that the outcome is rigged even before the first ballot is cast. That is how democracies falter, not with one tragic, magnificent collapse, but with the steady erosion of fair representation, one district at a time, not with a bang, but with a whimper, as the poet T.S. Eliot warned. Thomas Paine also reminded us, those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must undergo the fatigue of supporting it. And this moment right here, right now, is our collective fatigue. It is the hard work of protecting democracy from the slow decay of vile self-interest, contemptuous disregard for the rule of law, and the debilitating destruction of demagoguery. So we have been called upon to act with courage and conviction, and some have asked, why now? Why the urgency? Some have accused us on this side of the aisle of playing craven political theater, and as we all know, theatrics does have a certain role to play in politics. However, the serious nature of this moment is far beyond theatrics, and it is also well beyond the hysterics of hypocrisy. Virginia is among the states that have felt the immediate and immense economic pain from the chaos of the Trump administration. We know that he is eroding the rule of law in his relentless pursuit of power. We know that we must face the moment with urgency rather than sit on the sidelines as we watch our democracy be stripped away in ways that will take generations to repair. All across Virginia, tens of thousands of our constituents have marched, they have rallied, they have called upon us to act, to take a stance, to respond to the chaos and destruction of Trump's Washington with more than just empty words. And this week, we did just that, and Virginians are proud. So today is the first step in an endeavor to stand up against the unlawful power grabs and return power back to the people of Virginia. It is through our actions today that we may give Virginians a voice in deciding the future of America. Madam President, I conclude my comments with a reminder of what Abraham Lincoln urged of us, his fellow citizens, in 1862, that in moments of grave crisis, moments of historic urgency, we are called to act boldly and with full determination. It is Lincoln who said, "The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with that occasion. As our case is new, we must think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we will save our country." Madam President, we have just taken our first steps in disenthralling ourselves from the dogmas of that quiet past. Thank you, Madam President.